I smooth my navy dress as I park in front of my parents' modest ranch-style home. The red brick facade and neatly trimmed hedges look exactly the same as they did when I was growing up. Some things never change in Boise. Some things do. My mother, Linda, opens the door before I reach the porch. Her arms stretch wide, her smile too bright. "Melissa, you look lovely." She pulls me into an embrace that feels suspiciously genuine, her floral perfume enveloping me. It's been too long. 5 years of minimal contact, then suddenly a dinner invitation because they miss me. My skin prickles with warning. "Hi, Mom." I return the hug, holding myself slightly back. Dad appears in the entryway, his silver hair freshly trimmed. There she is. His eyes drift immediately to Chase and Brooke standing in the living room. A nervous glance. A silent exchange. I notice. The dining room hasn't changed, cream walls, oak furniture, and family photos covering every surface. I stop at the mahogany credenza, touching the silver frame holding our Grand Canyon vacation photo. The trip I financed when Dad's retirement account took a hit. "Wine?" Mom asks, already pouring a generous glass of Cabernet. "Thanks." I accept it, taking a small sip as my siblings settle into their usual spots. Chase, slouched in his chair, designer watch gleaming. Brooke, perfectly highlighted hair and manicured nails, scrolling through Instagram. "The pot roast smells wonderful," I offer, trying to ease the strange undercurrent pulsing beneath the familiar scene. "Local development is booming," Dad says, passing the potatoes. "They're putting in that new shopping center over on Fairview." Small talk, the currency of people avoiding what they really want to say. Chase takes a large bite, talking through it. "My new album is finally taking off. The producer thinks we might get some serious streaming numbers this time." The same producer who received $12,000 of my money for the last breakthrough that never materialized. "That's great," I murmur. Brooke doesn't even look up from her phone, thumb scrolling through images of European cafes and designer handbags. A lifestyle her part-time job at the boutique can't possibly fund. "The lighting is perfect," she says to no one in particular, angling her phone to show a cafe in Paris she visited last spring. On my dime. The room feels charged, as if everyone is waiting for something. Mom refills wine glasses that aren't empty. Dad clears his throat twice. Chase checks his watch. Choreographed. Rehearsed. I cut a piece of pot roast, the knife scraping against the plate with a sound that makes my mother wince. Dad sets down his fork deliberately. Clears his throat a third time. Here it comes. "We've been meaning to talk to you about something important, Melissa." My stomach tightens. The room shifts, narrowing to the serious expressions across the table. "We finalized the will," Mom announces, her voice carrying the practiced evenness of a prepared speech. She dabs her lips with a napkin, avoiding my eyes. "The house, the cabin, everything, it's all going to Chase and Brooke." The pot roast turns to ash in my mouth. I set my fork down carefully. "I see." 10 years ago. I was 28, just getting Barrett Commercial Design off the ground. My phone rang late on a Tuesday night, Dad's panicked voice explaining they were underwater on the mortgage. The emergency family meeting in this very dining room. The relief on their faces when I promised to help just until things stabilize. Chase hugged me so hard I couldn't breathe. "You're saving us, Mel." Brooke wiped away tears. "I don't know what we'd do without you." My small business success had suddenly made me the family bank. It never stopped. Chase's music career always just one more investment away from success. The $20,000 for studio time. The equipment. The tour van that never left the driveway. Brooke's tearful pleas for tuition. Just enough to finish the semester she'd promised. 3 different majors, 3 different last times. The cabin renovations that were supposed to be a family project somehow became my project alone. My checkbook. My responsibility. Holiday gatherings where envelopes of cash were accepted with casual thanks, as if I were simply passing the salt. Mom leans forward now, her well-rehearsed explanation flowing smoothly. "You don't need it, Melissa. You're stable. Your siblings need a foundation." Chase doesn't even try to hide his smirk from across the table. Brooke shrugs, finally putting down her phone. It's not like you can't afford your own place anyway. I set my napkin beside my plate, my voice steady. I've contributed $380,000 over the past 10 years. The mortgage payments, the renovations, the loans, everything. Mom's expression doesn't change. Nobody asked you to do that. Actually, you did. All of you did. Dad's face hardens. That was your choice. Nobody forced you. The room goes still. 10 years of support. 10 years of being the responsible one. 10 years of built up expectations, disguised as family duty. All of it meaningless. I look at each of them. The parents who taught me about fairness but practice none. The brother who takes without giving. The sister who considers gratitude an inconvenience. What would you do if your family took everything you gave them for 10 years and then told you it meant nothing? I'm about to show them. My knuckles turn white against the steering wheel. The engine idles, but I can't move, can't breathe, can't process what just happened. 10 years, $380,000, all of it dismissed with a wave of my mother's manicured hand. Rain taps against the windshield, mirroring the tremor in my fingertips as I pull up the spreadsheet on my phone. The one I've maintained meticulously since that first panicked call a decade ago. Every mortgage payment, every emergency transfer, every last time loan. The numbers blur as tears threaten, but I blink them back. Crying won't change what happened in that dining room. I scroll through the endless entries. June 2015, $12,000 for Chase's studio time. August 2017, $8,500 for Brooke's final semester of her second degree attempt. April 2020, $35,000 for cabin repairs. My throat tightens. The cabin where I haven't spent a single weekend in 3 years. I tap through to Chase's Instagram profile, where sunset photos from last month leap off the screen. The familiar deck railing, the lake view I paid to preserve. But it's not the cabin that makes my stomach lurch, it's the location tag. Cabo San Lucas. The same week he texted asking for $5,000 to finish the album. My fingers move automatically, finding Brooke's profile next. Her latest post yesterday showcases a Gucci handbag I recognize from their fall collection. Caption, treat yourself. The timestamp, 2 days after her tearful call about being a little short on rent. I've been played. Not occasionally, not accidentally, systematically, for years. A text notification interrupts my scrolling. Hank, the cabin caretaker. Miss Barrett, just wanted to let you know your brother had quite a party here last weekend. Broken window in the sunroom. I fixed it, put it on your account as instructed. The calm that settles over me feels foreign, cold, clarifying. I start the car and drive home through rain-slick streets, my mind oddly quiet after years of noise. The endless calculations of what my family might need next. The constant anxiety of being their safety net. My kitchen table disappears beneath the spread of documents. Mortgage statements, Venmo transfers, text messages pleading for just enough to get by, emails promising repayment that never came. The clock reads 2:38 a.m. I haven't moved in hours. I reach for my laptop, fingers steady now. First, the mortgage auto-pay $1,700 monthly for a house I don't live in. Canceled. The utility accounts, the insurance policies, the credit card I added them to, for emergencies only. One by one, methodically, I sever each financial connection. With each cancellation, my breathing deepens. The tightness in my chest, a constant companion for years, begins to loosen. I draft the email 3 times before I'm satisfied. No accusations, no emotion, just facts and figures. Effective immediately, I am discontinuing financial support. Attached is a comprehensive accounting of the $380,000 provided over the past decade. I've given 6 months' notice to the mortgage company. You'll need to make other arrangements by then. I press send before I can second-guess myself. The family photo album sits at the edge of the table. I reach for it, then stop. Not tonight. Tonight is for reclaiming what's mine. I've been warning you for years. Catherine's voice through the phone carries no judgment, only vindication. You know I love you, but they've been treating you like an ATM, not a daughter. I pour another cup of coffee, watching the sun rise from my balcony. I know, I just couldn't see it until they made it impossible not to. What did Marcus say? She asks. That it's about time. That he's wondered for years how I managed to fund my own life while bankrolling theirs. I laugh, but it comes out hollow. Turns out I wasn't managing. I've been putting off my own life to fund theirs. The doorbell rings. Ruth, my 78-year-old neighbor, stands there with a casserole dish and knowing eyes that miss nothing. Thought you might need this, she says, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation. Rough night? I nod, accepting both the food and the concern behind it. Family? She asks, settling into a kitchen chair. How did you know? Ruth pats my hand. Only family can wound us this deeply, dear. Blood blinds us to truths we'd see clearly in others. Her words land like permission. Permission to see clearly at last. My phone vibrates constantly throughout the day. I finally check it after dinner. Mom, there must be some mistake with the mortgage payment. Dad, call us immediately. Chase. WTF, Mom? My card was just declined at the studio. Brooke's voicemail comes last, her voice rising with each word. You can't just abandon your family like this, after everything we've done for you. The irony almost makes me laugh. Almost. Chase's final text arrives at 10:48 p.m. You have responsibilities. To this family. To me and Brooke. This is the most selfish thing you've ever done. I read it twice. Then, with deliberate movements, I silence my phone. The sudden quiet feels like the first deep breath after a decade underwater. For the first time in 10 years, I owe nothing to anyone. The relief is staggering. I freeze in the hallway, keys suspended in midair. The sight doesn't register at first. My apartment door covered in an expanding mass of hardened yellow foam that bulges from the frame like a cancerous growth. The keyhole has disappeared entirely. What the... The words escape in a whisper as I step closer, touching the rigid surfacing fingers. My phone buzzes. 3 new messages from Mom. We're worried about you, Melissa. This isn't like you. Your father hasn't been sleeping. Is that what you wanted? Call us. We can work this out. Work what out? The fact that they've written me out of their will after I saved their house? Or that my brother has apparently decided to escalate this into property damage? I pull up the security app on my phone, scrolling back through today's footage. There he is, Chase, in his black leather jacket and designer sunglasses, approaching my door at 2:17 p.m. with a can of construction foam in his hand. The camera captures his smirk as he aims the nozzle at my lock and presses, watching with satisfaction as the yellow substance expands and hardens. My phone buzzes again. Chase, this time. Hey sis, heard you're having door trouble. Maybe you should have thought about that before cutting us off. The hallway starts to spin. I lean against the wall, my heart hammering against my ribs as the reality crashes down. They're not just passive-aggressive anymore. They're retaliating. 4 more texts arrive in rapid succession, all family members claiming they know nothing about this, all suggesting I should calm down and talk things through. My cousin Diane, who I haven't heard from in 3 years, calls unexpectedly. Melissa? It's so good to hear your voice. I was just thinking about you. Listen, I heard there's some tension with your parents. I end the call mid-sentence. The hotel room is sterile and impersonal beige walls, generic landscape prints, a desk that's seen 1,000 travelers come and go. The locksmith couldn't salvage my door. The entire mechanism needs replacing, along with sections of the frame damaged by the foam. 2 days minimum before I can go home. I sit at the edge of the bed, staring at my open laptop. The spreadsheet of expenses glows in the dimness of weeks lost work from the disruption, hotel costs, door replacement, emergency locksmith fees. The numbers add up quickly. My business account shows the impact. 3 client meetings postponed. A presentation I couldn't access because the files were locked in my apartment. The carefully built cushion I'd maintained for emergencies now dwindling because of Chase's vindictive stunt. In the bathroom mirror, my reflection looks hollow-eyed and uncertain. Was I wrong to stand up for myself? I whispered to the stranger staring back at me. The question hangs in the air as I brush my teeth mechanically. Family means sacrifice, Mom always said. Family sticks together. Family comes first. But when does sacrifice become exploitation? I lie awake in the unfamiliar bed, watching headlights cast moving shadows across the ceiling. Does family obligation truly have no limits? Would I still be the good daughter if I'd given them $500,000 instead of $380,000? Would the will have included me then? Would Chase have respected my property? The questions circle like vultures, keeping sleep at bay until dawn bleeds through the curtains. I'd like to file a police report. My voice surprises me with its steadiness as I stand at the precinct desk. The officer looks up, his expression neutral. Nature of the incident? Vandalism and property damage. I have video evidence identifying the perpetrator. His eyebrows rise slightly at my clinical tone. I hand over my phone with the security footage queued up. That's my brother, I explain. He used construction foam to seal my apartment door, causing over $5,000 in damages when you include lost work and temporary housing. Family dispute? The officer asks. Criminal vandalism, I correct him. He studies me for a moment, then nods and begins typing. Would you like to press charges? Yes. The word comes without hesitation, surprising us both. My phone buzzes. Mom. Chase says you're threatening him with the police? Melissa, this is family. We handle things privately. I silence the phone and continue giving my statement. Back at the hotel, I spread the evidence across the desk with methodical precision. The security footage, downloaded and saved in 3 different locations. Bank statements documenting a decade of payments to my family. Screenshots of Chase's threatening text message. The itemized estimate for my door repair. The receipt for my hotel stay. Catherine arrives with a camera, helping document the damage for insurance. I can't believe they're doing this to you, she says, snapping photos of the foam-sealed door from different angles. After everything you've done for them. I reply, surprised at the clarity in my voice. I just can't believe I let it go on so long. Marcus calls from the office. Take all the time you need. I've rescheduled the Westlake presentation for next week. I don't deserve you, I tell him. No, you deserve better than what your family's giving you. He corrects me. That evening, my elderly neighbor Ruth appears at my hotel door with a casserole dish. You shouldn't have to eat room service every night, she says, placing the still warm container on the desk. The scent of home-cooked chicken and herbs fills the sterile room, and you shouldn't have to face this alone. I don't know what to do, I admit. Ruth's weathered hand covers mine. You're already doing it. Standing up for yourself isn't selfish, Melissa. It's necessary. I call my attorney the next morning. She reviews my evidence, voice growing increasingly confident. This is open and shut, she says finally. I'll draft a demand letter for $25,000 in damages immediately. That seems high, I reply. It includes punitive damages, pain and suffering, and lost business. Your brother made a choice. Now he gets to live with the consequences. For the first time in weeks, I feel my lips curve into a genuine smile. The notification appears on my phone at 6:43 a.m. Wire transfer, $25,000 from George Barrett. No message, no apology, just the money, appearing silently in my account like a white flag raised on a battlefield. I stare at the notification for a long moment, feeling neither victory nor vindication, just a profound weariness, mingled with something new, something that feels strangely like freedom. I open my banking app and initiate another transfer, $5,000 to the Family Reconciliation Center of Seattle. In the memo line, I type, donation in honor of George and Linda Barrett. That night, in my newly repaired apartment with its fresh paint and reinforced door, I sleep deeply for the first time in weeks. No messages interrupt my dreams. No family obligations tether me to wakefulness. I've reclaimed more than my home. I've reclaimed my power. And somehow, that's enough. My phone buzzes for the 17th time today. I don't need to look to know it's another relative calling to express their concern. It started 3 days ago. Aunt Carol's voice, thick with rehearsed sympathy. I heard what you're doing to your parents, Melissa, after everything they've done for you. I lower the blinds of my office as the autumn sun sets over downtown Seattle. The space I designed myself, clean lines, muted blues, walnut accents, offers no answers to the storm brewing outside these walls. My laptop pings with a new email notification. A screenshot from my cousin Jen, who still talks to me. The family group chat I was removed from yesterday. Linda, we're devastated. After everything we sacrificed to give her opportunities, she's abandoned us in our older years. George, the doctor says Linda's blood pressure is dangerously high from the stress. Chase, she's been acting erratic for months. We're all worried about her mental state. Brooke, I tried reaching out again, but she's completely shut us out. So heartless. I take a deep breath, my fingers trembling slightly as I reach for my water glass. The narrative they're spinning is masterful in its manipulation. In their version, I'm the ungrateful daughter who achieved success and discarded the family who supported her. My phone buzzes again. My neighbor Ruth this time, her voice tense. Linda called me crying about how you've abandoned them, said they're struggling to make ends meet. She pauses. Didn't you just pay off their mortgage last year? Yes. The single word feels heavy in my mouth. That's what I thought. Ruth's tone shifts. Something didn't add up. I open my laptop and stare at the document I've been preparing for 3 days. A simple, factual accounting. No accusations, no emotional language. Just numbers and dates. 10 years of financial support laid bare in black and white. Marcus appears in my doorway, concern etched across his face. You don't have to do this, you know. I do, actually. I straighten my shoulders. The truth deserves as much airtime as the lies. I hit pause before I can reconsider. One statement on my rarely used Facebook page. Family is complicated. Numbers are not. $380,000 over 10 years. That's not abandonment. That's the end of exploitation. Attached. A clean professional spreadsheet detailing every major payment. Mortgage payments. Chase's recording equipment. Brooke's third attempt at college. The cabin renovations. Medical bills. Car payments. Everything. No commentary. Just facts. I close my laptop and drive home in silence, the weight between my shoulder blades finally beginning to lift. The calls start coming by midweek. Different calls this time. I had no idea, my father's cousin Jim says. George told everyone you just decided to cut them off out of nowhere. Catherine sits across from me at my kitchen island, scrolling through her phone. Brooke's lost about 300 followers since yesterday. People are connecting the dots about her Paris trip. She looks up. The one you paid for. I never wanted this, I whisper. You didn't create this, Catherine reminds me. You just stopped hiding it. My neighbor Ruth calls again. Your mother started at the diner today, waiting tables. Information isn't delivered with satisfaction, just as a fact. Your father's working weekends at Anderson's Hardware. I should feel something guilt, perhaps. Instead, I feel a strange, hollow peace. Actions have consequences, even family actions. Another text from Catherine later that evening. Chase just launched a GoFundMe for his breakthrough album. 2 donations so far. I put my phone down and water my houseplants in silence. The letter arrives on a Tuesday, my father's precise handwriting on the envelope. Inside, 3 pages of explanation about misunderstandings and family communication issues. Not once does the word sorry appear. My mother's voicemail follows that evening. We should talk, Melissa. Start fresh. Family is family after all. I'm reviewing design plans when my office door opens. Chase stands there, clutching an ostentatious bouquet and wearing the smile that usually preceded asking for money. Hey, sis. His voice hits the exact note of contrition I'm sure he rehearsed in the car. I've been doing some thinking. I say nothing, waiting. Family's too important for all this unpleasantness. He steps forward, placing the flowers on my desk. We should put this behind us. Which part, specifically? I keep my voice neutral, professional. He shifts uncomfortably. All of it. Water under the bridge. My phone buzzes with a text from Brooke. We really should talk about healing our family. Also, my car needs repairs. Could you help? Just one last time. I look up at Chase, who's examining the modern art piece on my wall, the one I purchased after my first major client paid, instead of handing the money to him for studio time. I think we're done here. I stand, smooth my skirt. Please don't come to my workplace again. His face hardens, the mask slipping. So that's it? 10 years of family and you're just done? No, I say, walking to the door. 10 years of banking. I've closed the account. The door clicks shut behind him, the sound remarkably like freedom. I arrive 15 minutes early to Riverstone Coffee, my hands steady as I park. Catherine sits in her own car 2 spaces over, giving me a reassuring nod before we both step out. The weight of the leather portfolio under my arm grounds me. You're sure about this? Catherine asks, her voice gentle but firm. The same voice that's guided me through the last 3 months of therapy sessions and sleepless nights. I'm sure. The coffee shop bustles with Tuesday morning regulars. I select a corner table with clear sightlines to the door and position my chair facing the entrance. Catherine takes a seat at the adjacent table, close enough for support, but separate enough to send a message. This isn't a family reunion. This is a reckoning. I order a medium Americano with room for cream. Catherine orders tea. We wait. They arrive as a unit, just like they've always operated. My father leads the procession, his silver hair uncombed, his collared shirt wrinkled. Behind him, my mother clutches her purse like a shield. Chase and Brooke trail behind, both looking diminished somehow, Chase's designer watch noticeably absent. Brooke's highlights grown out with dark roots, showing. The contrast between us is stark. While I've shed 20 pounds of stress weight and gained a straightness to my spine, they seem to have collapsed inward, as if my financial support had been the scaffolding holding them upright. Melissa. Dad nods stiffly, eyes flicking to Catherine with poorly disguised annoyance. I gesture to the empty chairs. Please, sit down. They arrange themselves across from me, a tribunal suddenly finding themselves on trial. Mom's eyes are already glistening with tears that haven't yet fallen. We appreciate you agreeing to meet. Dad begins, his voice carrying the practiced cadence of a prepared speech. There have been some misunderstandings that have gotten out of hand. Misunderstandings, I repeat, the word hollow. Mom reaches across the table, stopping short of touching my hand when I don't move toward her. We miss you, sweetheart. The family isn't the same without you. Chase clears his throat, eyes fixed somewhere over my left shoulder. Look, about the phone thing, that was stupid. I was angry and I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. His apology hangs in the air narrow, specific, focused only on the most recent transgression, not the decade of taking. Brooke tucks her hair behind her ear, a gesture she's copied from me since childhood. Can't we just put all this behind us? Start fresh? We're family. Family, I echo, my voice steady as I unzip my portfolio. That's why we're here. I place the first document on the table, a mortgage statement from 2015 with my name as the payer. Then another, the check for Chase's recording equipment. Then Brooke's tuition bill. One by one, I lay down the artifacts of a decade of one-sided giving cabin renovation invoices, property tax statements, loan agreements never honored. $380,000, I say quietly. That's what family cost me. Dad's face hardens. If this is about money, it's not about money, it's about truth. I place the security camera screenshot showing Chase with the construction foam in front of him. It's about actions having consequences. The silence that follows is absolute. A nearby barista drops a spoon, the clatter making my mother jump. I didn't do it for an inheritance, I continue, my voice clear in the quiet. I did it because I thought we were family. I thought family meant mutual support, reciprocity, gratitude. I meet each of their eyes. I was wrong. Melissa, please. Mom begins. I hold up my hand. I'm not here to argue. I'm here to establish boundaries. I place a business card for Dr. Levinson, the family therapist, on the table. If you ever want a relationship with me again, there are conditions. Chase's smirk slips as I continue. Complete honesty, full accountability for the past, family therapy not negotiable, financial independence for all of you. No more loans, no more bailouts. Brooke's eyes widen. You can't just. I can. I am. I close my portfolio with a soft finality. The choice is yours now. Dad's authority seems to dissolve before my eyes, his shoulders slumping as his scripted speech fails him. Mom's tears fall freely. Now, not the calculated ones I've seen before, but messy, genuine ones that streak her makeup. Chase's expression morphs from dismissal to something closer to fear. Without my safeguards, his future suddenly looks uncertain. Brooke stares at her hands, her entire carefully curated lifestyle built on the foundation of my generosity. I stand, smoothing my navy dress, the same one I wore to that fateful dinner where they revealed the will. But I'm not the same person who sat across from them that night. Let me know what you decide. I turn to leave, then pause. Not because you need something, but because you're ready to be actual family. I walk away without looking back, Catherine falling into step beside me. Outside in the sunlight, I take my first truly free breath in a decade. You did good, Catherine says, squeezing my shoulder. I nod, feeling neither triumph nor sorrow, just the clean, clear certainty of someone who has finally claimed their worth. Some families are born, others are chosen. And sometimes the strongest choice is walking away with your head held high. I step off the plane at Narita International Airport, the exhaustion of a 14-hour flight melting away as reality sets in. I'm actually in Tokyo. After a decade of postponing this dream, filing it under someday, while my bank account drained into the Barrett family void, I'm finally here. My camera sits heavy against my HEPA professional model that would have once funded one of Chase's breakthrough recording sessions. The streets of Shibuya pulse with energy as I frame the perfect shot of strangers crossing the famous intersection. My photography instructor would be proud of the composition. She's been telling me for months that I have a natural eye. It's strange how validating praise feels when it's earned rather than extracted. You look happy, says the text from Catherine when I send her the photo. She's right. I am. 1 year since I walked away from that dinner table. 365 days of rebuilding a life that's actually mine. My business has expanded into Educational Spacey University Library last month, a progressive elementary school breaking ground next week. The irony isn't lost on me that I'm designing spaces for knowledge while finally becoming educated about my own worth. Back home, my condo overlooks Lake Washington, modest but beautiful, with oversized windows that flood the space with light. No sprawling mortgage, no cabin maintenance fees, no monthly subsidies draining my accounts, just peace. Mine. My therapist calls it restoration of self. Twice monthly sessions have helped me understand how my childhood as the responsible one primed me for exploitation. The journals stacked on my nightstand chronicle the journey from raw anger to quiet acceptance. The guilt still flickers occasionally, like a weak bulb threatening to die. But it no longer consumes me. I've heard through mutual friends that Dad works at Peterson's Hardware now. Mom waitresses at the Bluebird Diner. Their Facebook posts about simple pleasures reek of forced contentment. Chase, surprisingly, has maintained steady employment at a music store for 6 months longer than any previous job. Brooke's Instagram now features more modest celebrations, the designer labels and European cafes, replaced by local parks and home-cooked meals. They're adapting, not my responsibility. To the family we choose and the boundaries we honor, I say, lifting my wine glass. Thanksgiving dinner at my table looks nothing like the performance I endured for decades. Catherine and her husband sit across from Marcus and his boyfriend. Ruth, my 80-year-old neighbor, beams beside her granddaughter. 2 colleagues from work complete our circle. Genuine laughter erupts at Catherine's story about her disastrous attempt at homemade cranberry sauce. No one here keeps score. No one monitors who contributes what. No one's love comes with conditions. My phone buzzes with a text from Mom. We miss you at Thanksgiving. The door is always open. I don't respond. Some doors need to stay closed. Later, as dishes are cleared and coffee brewed, I show Ruth photos of the Montana cabin I'm purchasing 2 bedrooms overlooking a lake, where I'll retreat to write and photograph wildlife. My cabin, my terms. Have you thought more about Eric's invitation? Catherine asks when others have moved to the living room. I smile, thinking of the kind environmental lawyer I met at a fundraiser last month. His gentle questions, his thoughtful listening, the way he never once mentioned family beyond they shaped who we are, for better or worse. I'm meeting him for dinner next week, I tell her. Outside my windows, Seattle sparkles as dusk settles. In my hand, my phone shows 3 missed calls from Chase, likely another thinly veiled request, disguised as reconciliation. I silence the phone and turn away from the past, joining my chosen family in the warm light of my living room. Some relationships may never be restored, and that's okay. I found my peace.